Okay, so today I'm going to talk about why living in the UK is horrible, and why now as an adult I believe I have no future in the UK, as well as why generally I believe that I have a very dark future. I just want to kind of get this off my chest, and then after that I can try and be a bit more optimistic, but it's just something I really just want to make for myself more than anything. Let's get it off my chest, and then if my predictions of the future are wrong, all right, I can sort of come back and look at this and sort of just think about what I was feeling at the time, I guess, and, if I'm wrong, then I'm happy that I was wrong. In fact, the problem's been so extreme that I've effectively lost 5 years of my life overnight. I basically went straight from being a teenager to being an adult, which is very weird. It's like those years have just completely disappeared from my life. I never got to experience being a young adult. I've completely lost the years of my life between the ages of 20 and 25 due to a mixture of domestic abuse as a teenager and also from almost 3 years from the pandemic. Being 23, it would have been okay, that would have been easily recoverable, but being 26, that's a significant gap that's going to be very, very difficult to make up for. When I was a kid, I had a pretty bright future. I always had good grades. The single biggest problem in the UK is that education does not prepare you for the adult world and for getting a job, financial awareness, and all those things you need to do as an adult. And as such, a lot of people in the UK make bad decisions in terms of their education and what they're going to study, me included. I took a criminology degree, which I was woefully unprepared for the fact that no agencies want to hire somebody like me, largely due to political reasons. I'm not going to go into that here. If you take the bullshit statistics that companies use for economic loss, such as opportunity cost, I've lost £175,000 due to these issues. Between debt from university, which is over £80,000 a year, with a 10% interest rate, loss of savings, and lost income from unemployment as well from the pandemic. I never received any sort of furlough. When most people in the country did get furlough and actually saved money, I had nothing, and what little savings I had dwindled to nothing. If it wasn't for the kindness of my grandpa and for my girlfriend, who I lived with in France for a very long time, and her family, especially her mum and her sister, I'd have been homeless, or even worse, I might not be here at all. Worse than the money, it's the time you can never get back. It's delayed my ability to get married and settle down by 5 entire years, and it may end up stopping me from doing it at all, unless I make sacrifices that I'm just not willing to make. The girl I've spent the last 3 years of my life with, I've not seen in 6 months, and I very much doubt I'm going to see her for the next 3 to 5 years, if not ever again, potentially. Should I end up not having a future with her because I've gotten too old or too poor or anything else, then there's no way on earth I'm ever going to marry someone my own age. I just wouldn't consider doing it anymore. Due to the delays in my life, I would insist on having to marry somebody between 3 to 8 years younger than me, effectively, because those are the people that are at the same point in their life that I am, looking to settle down, buy a house and have kids. And because of those 5 years delays, really financially, I'm pretty much the same as a 21-year-old, which is really, really hard. When you're an older guy, girls generally that are looking for older guys anyway are going to be looking for guys with lots of money, and that's something I'm probably never going to have. So what are the specific reasons that led to me deciding that I was going to leave the UK? So I knew I couldn't stay in the UK. I'm never going to have any sort of real inheritance, I very much doubt. I couldn't get a graduate job in the UK, as I live in the rural countryside, and almost all public sector jobs have racial hiring preferences and political preferences, which I'm always on the losing end of. I've applied for over 50 jobs in the law enforcement field relating to criminology and things like this, and I've been rejected from every single one. And in the UK, there's a law which means you have to put down your diversity statistics before anything else, and sometimes I've been rejected just from that form alone. Even if I got another job in the private sector in an unrelated subject on the mainland, I would still have to pay thousands of pounds, probably £2,000 to £5,000, just on paying rent and all this stuff up front, to get a minimum wage job where I'd be forced to live paycheck to paycheck with absolutely no prospects of advancing my career, most likely. On top of that, I could never even dream of affording a house in the UK, or even a deposit to buy a mortgage. It's just never going to happen, as I'd likely never earn more than £25,000 as an absolute maximum. And best of all, if I ever actually got to the average salary in the UK of about £40,000 a year, I would have to potentially pay 70% in tax rates, which is absolutely obscene. In America, I believe the highest tax rate is 39%. And to pay that, you have to earn almost $400,000 per year, which is pretty reasonable, to be fair. If I was earning 400 grand a year, I'd happily pay 39%. In the UK, that's not the case. We have a base income tax rate of 20% on anything over £12,000 a year, and then a 45% income tax rate on anything over £40,000 per year. On top of that 45%, you have a mandatory 12% national insurance, which is how we pay for the NHS. You also have 9% for having an undergraduate degree and 15% for having a postgraduate degree. Do the maths. That's 66% of your income in tax, and you still couldn't even dream of even a deposit for a mortgage, let alone supporting a family. And because of that, that's why I decided to leave the UK, because financially it's just completely unsustainable. For somebody like me with no skills or talents, I decided to focus on teaching English, as it's pretty much the best way to live abroad, as any English speaker really. Since the start of the pandemic 2 years ago, I've signed 4 job contracts and been trying to go for over 2 years. Twice I paid for flights and was blocked by the governments in Korea and China, losing thousands of pounds. The maximum I've earned in this time is £90 per week, which is barely enough to feed myself. I spent that money effectively on nice food for my girlfriend's mum, effectively as a bribe to thank her for letting me stay there. When I left France, I'd just about saved €1,000. I gave €500 to her and I kept 500 for myself. But the money I had has immediately just gone on trying to get to Asia immediately, as there's been thousands of pounds worth of costs. The direct cost of me going to Asia so far has been £6,000 to £10,000. And that's basically almost a year's salary. Even when I get there, I'm not going to be paid more than £12,000 a year. So my first year, assuming I spend zero money, is going to go straight to my grandpa for helping me get there. So I'm not actually going to get any real money for about 2 years, most likely. Financially surviving has been really hard. And it's going to be hard for the next 2 years because of all the debts I've racked up with my family just trying to leave the UK. Even my clothes, which are largely, a lot of the time, falling apart, are 6 to 12 years old. My shoes are always falling apart by the time I buy another pair of £15 shoes to get me by effectively. And at the worst point, I had so little money, nothing when I came back to the UK and I had no savings left. I was only eating 2 to 3 days per week. In 1 week once, I only ate 2 meals. And in the last 6 months, I've lost 15 kilos, not just from starving myself or anything, but just from the stress and the anxiety. Every time you've booked the flights and you're ready to go, you really believe you're going, and you just get hit saying, no, you can't come, cancel it all. And to me, that was the soul-destroying moment when I had my visa, I had the job, I had the flights, the COVID test, everything was booked to go to China, and the local government said, no, you can't go. To me, that was soul-destroying, because after 2 years of this, I truly believed I was going. I had an amazing friend in the city that I was going to live in that I made, and I was so happy to really believe I was going, and I got let down. And to me, that was my absolute worst point. I say I've since then tried to get a job in Korea. It's nowhere near as good as the job in China financially, and it's going to take a long time to pay my debts. But as long as I get there, at least I'm optimistic. Now I want to talk about the future. And if my life isn't an absolute disaster, what I would like to do with it. It's been really, really hard. But I think if I can actually get to Korea, then things should finally start to improve after all of this. And my goal in life now is just to do my very best to make up for the calamity that I've had so far. A quarter of my life down the drain. Hopefully, as long as I'm not maltreated again, I shouldn't be blocked from going. I believe I will get there, probably. And the school said they'll pay for my quarantine. I'm waiting for the visa now, so hopefully it's going to work out. It is a minimum wage job, and it's the lowest wage you can get in the industry in Korea, despite all the rest of it. So I'm not going to make a lot there, and it's going to take me 2 years to make up for the money I've already lost. I just want to work hard, get as much teaching experience as I can to hopefully, at the very least, have a TEFL teaching career. And hopefully I'll survive in relative comfort when I can eventually go to France with enough experience to get a basic teaching job, even if I fail to grow my YouTube channel and I fail to do what I really want to do for a living, and that's make great content for you guys. If I do manage to grow my channel and other projects I work on, such as the game that I'm making on Steam, and also I'd like to write books in the future as well. I have a lot of things I want to do. And if I do manage to grow those things to the point that I can even make a basic income, I will truly be the happiest person in the entire world. I cannot even describe with words how happy I would be just to be able to make a living doing what I love, even if it's a very, 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 very modest living. Being able to do things that I love, making content that other people can enjoy, brings me joy. Money aside, that makes me so happy that I can do things to make other people happy, and they let me know. When they tell me that, oh, I really enjoy this thing you've done, it makes me so happy. I've put 500 hours into my Yu-Gi-Oh! Tabletop mod. I got just 2 messages on Discord when I announced there was going to be a big Christmas update, and those 2 messages really, really made me so happy for the entire day. So it makes a massive difference to me. For someone who's been depressed their entire life, effectively. I've been on YouTube for almost 10 years, but I've been inconsistent. I mainly made video game related content. In fact, I made Warframe videos for a while, and after I had a severe bout of depression that lasted almost a year, I realized those videos blew up to over 75,000 views each. That's insane. In fact, I did make £250 off of those videos. It's the only money I've ever made off of YouTube, and it might be the only money I ever make. I got about 300,000 views in total on those videos. And I didn't realize, because I didn't look at my YouTube channel for over a year because I was so depressed and I was in a really low spot. I broke up with the first girl I fell in love with, and it was really hard. And I came back and went, holy shit. I didn't actually realize they made a bit of money until, recently when I was desperate and, this China thing, and that money went the next day. It's gone. So, if I could get even the same amount that I do with these travel videos that I did on those gaming videos, then that's amazing to me. And that was about 200 to 500 views a day. I would be over the moon with that. Truly. That would be great. I did make over 200 videos on my channel originally before I started doing this seriously in this reboot, which you can find on my Discord. There are direct links to playlists which are hidden on YouTube, but you can see them. So I warn you, it's not great and it's not very well made. But some people used to enjoy it, so there we go. In fact, one day in the future, I'd really like to remake my original horror game playthroughs, sort of as an adult. Because there were some amazing games and I love them and I have so many good memories of them, so I'd love to remake those videos one day in the distant future. I've rebranded my channel into a travel vlogging channel, as I've always loved traveling and exploring new places, and sharing things with you guys has actually really motivated me to leave the house more. I was just depressed in my room playing games all the time, but being able to take a camera out and explore and take you guys with me, that's really motivated me just to go out and do things, which before I would never do that, especially on my own. I invested what little money I had left into some better equipment, like a new microphone and the camera I'm using today, and they work really well outside. So that's allowed me to make the travel vlogging videos when I go to Asia. I've started by making videos about my home in rural Britain on the Isle of Wight, which is it's a popular tourist destination, but it's really, really out the way in the countryside. There's some beautiful views here, which you've seen in some of my videos if you've looked at them. And when I go to Korea, I really want to continue this trend of making these videos of living in rural Korea, because I'm going to live in an area called Yesan, which is about an hour and a half south of Seoul, and it's really quite a rural place. There's mountains, there's snow, and I'm really excited about going if I actually get to go there. And I really can't wait to share rural Korea, not Seoul, not Busan or the big cities. I really want to show you guys the countryside in Korea. So I don't think there's any YouTuber that's really big or even known at all that's been in rural Korea from my knowledge. Maybe I'm wrong, feel free to let me know in the comments. And when I'm in Korea, I'm going to do my very best to keep making weekly videos. Even though I may get very little time off and I might be expected to work 10 hours per day, 5 days a week, I will still do my very best to bring out a video every single week. So the goals for my channel moving forward, I want to make travel related content. Generally, my videos are going to have 3 focuses, and those focuses are history, culture, and food. I'm a massive history buff. I know a lot of you guys might not be, but I'm trying to give this still a travel-y spin. So there's going to be a bit of historical background information on the foods and the places I go, but the history for me is just a love, and I hope I can put that in an entertaining format for you guys. All of my videos will be made in either a vlogging format or kind of like an amateur documentary style, and they're going to be organized into playlists. So if you really dislike my history sort of themed videos, you can watch those. If you really dislike the food, you can watch those. If you really dislike the travel vlogging, the exploring, you can watch that. There will be playlists for all of you. There are 3 particular YouTube channels that really inspire me, that I watch regularly and that I love, and I would love to make content as great as them. And if you can figure out where they are from, then you can have a cookie. And all 3 of them are British. That's your cue. That's your clue. If you can figure that out, really hats off to you. I don't know if my videos convey any sort of connection to these channels or if I have my entirely own style, but there might be a bit leaking through subconsciously when I edit that kind of makes it look a bit like them. So I want to keep bringing you guys content about the island till I go in hopefully December, and then I'm going to go to Korea. And I want you guys to help me shape my channel into a format we can all enjoy and gain some value from. I'm going to provide honest opinions on the places that I go, the foods that I try, the things that I do, and I want to put an emphasis on the historical and cultural background of the places and the things that I do. I want to focus on the costs and the information of how to get there. How do I reach these rural places? Just the simple things that are going to help you guys to follow in my footsteps if I've given you an idea that you would really like to explore and try yourself one day. I will very occasionally make 2 other styles of video. And these are full-blown history-focused documentaries, which are going to be very different, but they're going to be very rare because I'm going to have a lot more production value in them. They're going to be harder to make. And the last is tutorials. I'm a very methodical person. You can watch my Hearts of Iron tutorials that are still here. There's only 2 of them, but they're very, very detailed. And I do the same thing in all aspects of what I do. So if in future my videos are substantially better quality than they are now, my quality I think is already growing very quickly. And hopefully that's going to continue so I can really smash out that quality. And if in future you guys think, wow, his videos are quite good quality and you want to know how I make them, ask a comment, and I promise, one comment asking how I do my sound post-production, my color correction, all these things, editing, I will teach you how to do them. I'm more than happy to make tutorials to get you guys to make videos like me. And hopefully my videos one day will be good enough that other people actually are inspired to make their own videos because of me, like I'm inspired by the 3 YouTubers I love more than any other. One video I want to make quite soon is I've made a really insanely detailed audio library, which I use for my videos. Hundreds of songs, really good quality songs, completely for free. There's no premium stuff, there's no advertising. And I want to make a little guide as an example of what those guides would be like. How do you build a really high quality audio library for YouTube videos for free, and how to organize it as well on your computer and all that sort of stuff. So I think that'd be a great little idea that I can show you guys and see if you like the idea of showing you how I do things, because that's one thing that I already think I do very well. So the main focus of the channel is going to be tourism and sharing my experiences in other countries with you guys, like Korea and France and the other places that I visit, and hopefully give you guys ideas on where you want to visit yourself and to encourage you to visit rural, less traveled to areas, not like Seoul and Tokyo and London and Paris. I want you to go to the countryside and see what the people are really like. I'm from rural Britain, as I said. I'm from the Isle of Wight, which is in the middle of as countryside as it can possibly get. So I love rural areas and I love seeing what it's like in these rural areas. And it's hard for me to leave my home. I love the island. I've been here my entire life. And I have to leave it because I can't afford to survive here. And hopefully I'll get to revisit one day as well. I'll be very happy if I can come back in 5 years or whenever I get to come back. And hopefully I'll be able to instill a love of the countryside and traditional culture in you guys as much as I have in myself. In terms of my career, I don't really want to be a super famous YouTuber with hundreds of thousands of pounds. I don't care about that. I would be absolutely over the moon if I can even get a modest number of subscribers and even a little income to top up a very poor TEFL teaching career. Even £500 a month to me would be a massive increase. To me, £500 a month from YouTube would make everything more worth it than I can imagine. That's a 40% increase to my future salary as a teacher. 40%. And I know a lot of YouTubers make £10,000, £8,000 a month. I don't care. $500 a month to me is just enough. It's a life-changing amount to me. That's like winning the lottery. Honestly, for me, $500 a month is winning the lottery. And if I can do that in 5 years, even 10 years, that £500 a month and his 10 to 20,000 subscribers would be absolutely worth every second of time I put into this channel. And it will make my future a little bit less bleak. And even a modest amount like that, if I go to live in France with the girl I want to settle with one day, that's enough to pay for a really nice holiday, which we can go as a family, and I can make videos still traveling doing tourism stuff, even when I settle on a low salary in France. So that would be great. If by some miracle I can actually make £1,000 a month from my videos or from my Yu-Gi-Oh game on Tabletop Simulator, I have got a Patreon, which obviously no one subscribes to yet, but I'm trying to set it up with the future in mind. So if people want to support my work, whether it's my YouTube videos, whether it's the book I want to write, whether it's my Yu-Gi-Oh game on Steam, or any other project whatsoever, if they want to support that, they have the option to do so. And if I can make even £1,000 a month doing the things that I love, that would be enough for me to quit my job, marry the girl I love, who I might not see for 5 or 10 years, or ever again, and focus entirely on making content for you guys full time, whatever that content may be. All I need is £1,000 a month. And that's, to me, that's an unimaginable thing. Like, I truly cannot even imagine making £1,000 a month from the content that I make, which is incredible because my best friend is actually extremely successful, and in less than a year he went from my situation in absolute poverty. In fact, he lived with his little brother, and his little brother's dad very sadly died. And just before he died, he bought my friend his first 3D printer. And he said he was very drunk, and he said he believed in him. And in less than a year, my friend was able to make $10,000 to $30,000 per month doing what he loved. And to me, that's probably the most inspirational thing I could even imagine. And to be honest, he's probably my inspiration just for wanting to make a living, just doing what I love doing. If I can do that, even if it's 1/30th of the amount he made, to me, that's life-changing. That's completely unimaginable to me. So I've spent these few weeks since my China disappointment trying really hard to improve the quality, the recording, the editing techniques, the cinematography, the storytelling especially the storytelling. I know this is so important, and it is. One day I'd love to tell you about the story where I met a very important man and he gave me some advice on if I want to do well, this is what I need to do. And we're going to see if I can do that and if I can succeed. And if I can, and I want to tell you about the conversation I had with him one day, if I do well, and how that inspired me, especially. So I have some really exciting videos coming up for you guys as well from the island before I leave. I've done some food videos, history and culture videos. We're going to go to one of the oldest, biggest castles in the UK, and that's going to be super exciting. And also, we've explored some abandoned manors. We're going to explore some other really exciting derelict buildings, which are kind of dangerous. Some of the videos I make are dangerous, Do not do some of these things. Seriously, I will warn you in those videos. But at the end of the day, I loved doing it, and bringing entertaining content to you guys is most important. And obviously I try my best to be safe, but there are some risks. Don't do some of the things I do. So there are some really amazing abandoned buildings we're going to explore. There is a manor house on the island, a very big manor house that's collapsing, and we explored that. And there's an abandoned hospital, which is massive. And I really want to go there because there's not a single video on the whole of YouTube of it. And that will be the creme de la creme of my exploration videos before I leave. So hopefully there's some really great videos coming up that you guys are really going to enjoy, and there should be some even more amazing, super exciting things coming up when I get to Korea. And it's all going to be totally new for me. I know nothing about Korea. In fact, I've specifically not researched almost anything outside of what I knew from my Taekwondo because I want to see it firsthand and just be immersed and enjoy the surprises and share the surprises with you guys. So I really don't believe my channel's ever going to get anywhere, but I am going to commit to working hard, making weekly videos for the next 5 years or so to see what I can do. And hopefully, even if it's a modest amount, it's still a big difference to me. And I can do what I love. So I'm going to work really hard to make great content for you guys and to improve your lives. And in return, your interaction, your comments and your responses bring me happiness, regardless of whether there's money involved or not. It really has helped me in some of my darkest times at the moment. And if by some miracle one day I can make maybe £12,000 a year, £10,000 a year from this, that would be an absolute unimaginable dream for me, and I could immediately be with the girl I love, who I might never get to see again. I can make a living doing what I love and bringing great content to you guys and bringing some light into the lives of people that might struggle as much as me with things like depression and feelings of futility and uselessness. So thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I really just want to get my thoughts out there and get them off my chest. Even if my predictions are really bleak and negative, they might come true and they might not. And I've had some pretty severe anxiety and depression for most of my life. And depression's hard. I know it can stop you doing things, it can put a spanner in your plans, and it's really hard, and we just have to keep pushing forwards, and that's what I'm going to try and do now. I do believe that if I work really hard for 5 or 10 years, I can get maybe 10, 15,000 subscribers. I think I can do that. And maybe if I work really hard, I can get maybe 500 a month from my videos. And that for me is still a massive amount, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work really hard to bring the best videos and the best content, the best quality to you guys that I possibly can. And even if I can't do what I love for a living, hopefully it'll be a really good contribution to my life, whether it's just from making me happier by bringing valuable content to you guys and you telling me how much you love my work. That really does make a massive difference for my motivation when I'm depressed, and it motivates me to make more videos and keep going. And hopefully, even if I don't make money from this, I can have that motivation from your guys' support. And I do have some very supportive friends and people that do watch my stuff. And that really means the world to me. And if there's more people that I can bring joy to, the amount of motivation that brings me is going to be amplified dozens and dozens of times if I'm ever able to grow my channel, regardless of the money or not. So that's it for today. So if you're interested in travel tourism, especially if you're a big history buff like me and you're a bit of a nerd, then you're exactly like me, and I know I can make videos that you're going to love. And if you're interested in food, culture and history, and you like Britain and you like the British perspective and British culture, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join me on the journey that is my train wreck of a life. And if I'm extremely lucky, then one day, with very hard work, dedication, a bit of time, and support from you guys, maybe we're going to make something of my life together. So I see you next time, guys.